For those of you who don't know, this month is Lupus Awareness Month. It is also Mental Health Awareness Month. I love that they fall together in May because it gives me a great opportunity to talk about all the things that I care about all at once. Part of the reason I started making this series was to talk about the mental health bit, but this month it comes together nicely with lupus. Hi, my name is Natalie. If this is your first time here, welcome. I drop videos every week, generally on Mondays, about health, wellness, and eco-friendly living. If that sounds like your sort of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today, I'm making a part 2 video of a series that I started on how to build self-confidence when living with a chronic illness. And in my case in particular, we're talking about lupus. Before I get started with some additional tips, I'm going to attach part 1 of the video that I created on this series so that you can watch all of them together. So let's dive right into some of the things that are helpful when trying to better manage your self-worth or self-confidence. Believe it or not, confidence is something that can be learned, and it's a matter of utilizing strategies that help you feel more secure. So one of my favorite tips in line with that same train of thought is to make sure that the life decisions that I am making are in harmony with my long-term plan. What I have found is that when I make decisions that are impulsive and that don't take into account my long-term plan, eventually it builds up feelings of failure, feelings of resentment, feelings of shame, and sometimes even feelings of fear, because at this point I am actively doing things that compromise my future stability. So naturally, when my rational mind eventually kicks in, I start thinking about, was that the best thing to do? Was that the smartest thing to do? Was that the most optimal thing to do? And now that I've determined that it is not, what are going to be the ramifications of that decision? What are the implications of that decision? How long can I, before I'm able to course correct? So as you can see, having to fix problems that I created by not thinking long term enough and having, a poor vision of what my long term goal is, or perhaps even poor discipline around how to systematically implement, strategies to stay in line with my vision, end up making me feel bad because deep down, I know that I let myself down. And there's really nothing that can help you alleviate that feeling of purposely doing something that harms you. Like, let me give you a concrete example. As an example, you have a goal to lose weight. You have a certain number that you want to lose by a certain time period. So you have a schedule, you start like meal prepping, you start thinking about how many calories a day do I need. You have a schedule around how you're going to eat to make it happen. Let's say a day comes when you're just like not really into it. Maybe you're feeling bad. Maybe there's some other things that have happened that have put you in a bad mood. So you decide to just like start snacking on Oreos. And instead of just having one or two or three, you decide to eat half of the box. When you're done eating those Oreos, chances are you're not going to feel good about yourself because you're going to remember that you had a goal, and you're going to realize that you literally just did something to hurt yourself on the way to that goal, which is now going to get in the way of you reaching that goal as quickly as you could, or at the very least is going to present as an additional barrier that you have to get over. I know when we're trying to diet or when we're trying to save money or we're trying to come up with any long-term goal, it requires a sacrifice. And in the immediate sense, that sacrifice costs us our happiness, like in the immediate moment. It's not really what we want to do. What we want to do is whatever the heart wants to do. But oftentimes, reacting from that place of like, I need it now, I want it now, leads to negative emotions down the line when we start like zooming into our future. So being willing to sacrifice the immediate need for the future need makes you feel empowered. It makes you feel in control. It makes you feel empowered. And it also makes you feel invested into your future, which is a good feeling to have. Moving on to our next tip. Another thing that really helps me is being accomplished. I like to get things done. I like to get them done well, preferably, but I do like to get them done. They don't have to be done perfectly, but they have to be done to the best of my ability in the moment, right? That's a me thing. You don't necessarily need to have that. But the main thing is making sure that you are accomplishing your goals, that you're getting things done during your day. And for me, having a to-do list is imperative. There's just way too much going on in my brain. There are way too many things that I'm responsible for that I'm juggling. And there's no way I'm going to be able to remember what's what. But when I have a to-do list, I'm able to write things down. You know, I have one of these pads, these yellow pads. You can see it's kind of a mess, but it really helps me to like get things done, cross things off the list. So if you don't have a pad of some sort, or, you know, if you're not old fashioned like me, you can certainly use your phone. I know you can save tasks on your phone. You can set reminders on your phone. You can set reminders for how long tasks take. So you can also manage your time around when, you know, you need to transition to something else. It's kind of a way to manage yourself, manage your time, manage your task. Because when you get done at the end of the day and you notice everything has been checked off, there is a sense of competence that comes with that. And that competence brings a great deal of pride because you woke up and you chose yourself and you chose the things that were important to you and you got them done. It's not even about the things, and it's more about you feeling like you are in control of your life and you feeling like you're actively working on the things that are important to you. So having a way to keep stock of all that you have to do, having a way to monitor all that you have to do, and coming up with a system to actually get things done and check things off as you go is only going to leave you feeling more accomplished, feeling more competent, feeling stronger, feeling capable, which is a big part of living with a chronic illness. Oftentimes you feel very incapable of doing very basic things. So it's really important to kind of jolt your system with that, especially on those good days when you're not feeling so icky all over. You know, you can just get things done and just have that sense of accomplishment. There's truly nothing like it. If you have something major to do, for me, it's super helpful to break big, major tasks into small parts. That way, I don't get myself overwhelmed thinking I'm going to go from 0 to 100 in a day. So instead of writing the big goal, as an example, it could be, I don't know, paint something, like you're going to refurbish a wooden piece of furniture, as an example. Well, first you need to like shave it down to remove the old furniture, right? If it's wood. So you're going to do that whole thing, get all the wood off, and then you have products that you have to apply. Then you're going to go with your primer, then you're going to go ahead and add your paint, then you're going to let it dry, then you're going to do your second coat, then you're going to let it dry. And I don't know, you might add some other things to make it more shiny or more colorful. But the point is, you want to write all of those as each individual steps so that you're not just writing refurbished furniture. Because if you get started with that and you don't finish it, if that was your goal for the day, or at least if that's how you wrote it, then it could seem like you're not doing as much, when really it takes like days to actually like do this right and do it well so it can look good. So don't be nervous about simplifying goals into smaller pieces that you can get done like that, because a lot of times when you get that momentum going, it's easier to like stay true to yourself and hold yourself accountable for the things you have to do every day, every week, every month, every year, and that can turn into a lifetime. Monitoring your progress and doing that consistently is a wonderful way to truly measure your accomplishments. And it's for no one else but yourself, really. It's really about keeping yourself motivated. So try to be as specific as possible. Try to be as small as possible in the way you write your goals. And if you're doing something that requires several steps, try to be as specific in terms of like how many times you're going to do something, so that every time you're doing it, you're checking it off. Like one paint or coat, check off or cross off, second paint or coat. So that's two things that you did. That way you get to really see how hard you're working, as opposed to just all of it being a blur and you just focusing on from point A to point Z, when really a lot of work goes into things sometimes. And we need to really slow down, be in the moment so we can do it well and do it in a way that not only makes us feel good because we're doing a good job, but that ends up being something that we're proud of because we did it well and we weren't rushing through it because we felt pressured to get it done like that, when really it takes about a week to get it done. Moving on to my third tip for this video. Honor your values and honor your belief systems and honor your ethics. In whatever you do, it's good to make sure that the decisions that we're making align with our values and our ethics and our belief systems. As an example, if you believe in being a vegan because you believe in taking care of the planet, or you believe in taking care of animals, or you believe in reducing pollution, you believe in climate change, then honor that. It's not really about perfection. It's about making sure that we are intentional about honoring the decision making, that we're consistent. Because what happens over time is that our actions actually define the quality of our lives. And even more importantly, our actions define our character. So if you say this is something you believe in, and if you say it's something that you're into, then stick to it. You will get a great deal of pride and comfort in knowing that you're not betraying yourself in the decisions that you're making. And again, it's not about perfection, but it's about intention and being intentional, being consistent, being honest with yourself, and honoring yourself in the way that you live your life. And when mistakes are made, to not beat yourself up about it. I remember, you guys who follow this channel know that I eat gluten-free, but there have been times I've eaten food that had gluten in it. I obviously didn't know because it wasn't a deliberate choice to eat gluten, because my body does not like gluten. So gluten doesn't feel good on my stomach. Sometimes I don't have symptoms, but more often than not, I do. So whenever I end up eating gluten and I end up having some of the, sensory reactions from it, I feel bad about myself because obviously this is not something I wanted to do. But I don't beat myself up about it. I feel bad about the symptoms, but I don't think I'm a bad person for having made that mistake. So I say that to say, for those of us who are living with a chronic illness, a lot of times there is a lot of management that's involved with our eating, our sleep pattern, basically a lot of lifestyle things. So the intentions are to do the right thing, but if we make mistakes, we chalk it up as a mistake because nobody's flawless, and we turn the page and move on to the next day, and hopefully it's going to be better than it was yesterday. My next tip is something that can help us both with our physical health as well as our mental health, and that is physical exercise. Physical exercise is so important for our mental health. While physical exercise in and of itself isn't a mental health treatment, it can do a lot of wonders with helping us alleviate symptoms of depression or anxiety, especially if they are mild. They've done studies that show that regular exercise routine can certainly alleviate mild symptoms of depression and anxiety. So exercise is good for a lot of different things, but the most notable ones for me are better sleep, better attention to detail, better focus, better mood, less anxiety, and overall more confidence, because I feel more comfortable in my body when I work out. My body feels more alive when I work out. My body feels like a machine that I'm using, and it feels like we're collaborating on it. I get to listen to my body to see how far I can push it and how much I need to pull back when it's too much. It feels like something that allows me to deeply and intimately connect with myself. And that's very important because when we're living with a chronic illness, a lot of times we see our body as the holder of our pain. It's like the body becomes the vessel that holds the pain, and we only interact with it around the pain. It's like, oh, the back is hurting, or the legs are hurting, the arms are hurting, the tummy is hurting. And over time, we start to almost like transfer, an identity to our body, which is directly tied to something negative. It's like, this body is failing me. This body is in pain. This body is hurting. When we exercise, we get to offset some of that negative mindset by seeing our body as an agent, a tool, a blessing, something that is beneficial, that brings many blessings, like the ability to walk and the ability to stand and to sit and to twist and to bend. I do a lot of yoga. So for me, a lot of that stretching and movement really gets me like in tune with my body again. And that's really something that is beneficial for my mental health as well. So, with this being Mental Health Awareness Month, I want to encourage you, if you're not already somebody that stays active, to think of ways to stay active. It doesn't have to be running a marathon, but it's really a way to re-experience your body or experience your body in a positive way, as opposed to just seeing it as something that's constantly hurting. Make time to care for it. Make time to nurture it. Make time to love on your body so that you're not, again, just vilifying it and just criticizing it and just putting it down. So do the right thing, set goals, make sure the goals are in alignment with where you're trying to go, your future, not just make decisions for the right now. Think long term, get things done. And make sure that you try tracking how you're going about getting things done, because a lot of times, just at the end of the day, being able to see a long list with a lot of check marks next to it, or a lot of items crossed off, brings such a sense of competence and confidence in your ability to really tackle anything. At the root of it all, self-esteem is really about believing that we are worthy of things that are good, and also believing that we are competent in our ability to create optimal conditions in our lives that lend to us feeling worthy in our lives. So they go hand in hand. Competence goes hand in hand with confidence and self-esteem, and so does self-worth. And oftentimes, upping these things, upping our ability to feel confident in our lives, and upping our self-care routine can trigger some of those emotions of feeling worthy and feeling competent in our lives. So that's all that I have for today. Stay tuned for part 3. And I'm going to be talking about mental health all month long in terms of confidence, self-confidence, and overall well-being. What about you? What are some things that you do to help you, strengthen your confidence as you're soldiering your way through chronic illness? Leave your comments in the box below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and give it the thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to my channel for videos every week around these similar topics: health, wellness, and eco-friendly living. You can also follow me on social media. You can follow me on Facebook at Styled Under, and follow me on Instagram if you're into fashion. I post a lot of fashion content on Instagram at Styled Under 25. If you're looking to purchase any of my vintage or sustainable fashion pieces, you can certainly do so at styledunder.com. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Au revoir.